Hi, Chris. How are you today?
I'm all the better for seeing you. Law Phil Porrick to everybody. I know it probably is the wrong day, but whatever. Happy Paddy's, everybody.
Happy Patty's. Oh, and every day, if you're Irish, every day is St. Patrick's Day. I want to ask you, what do you tell people this show is about and who your character Dusty is?
I play a high school history teacher who's married, thinks he's happy. He's got a teenage daughter. He is a very proud member of a small community. Everything seems to be going great. We meet him on the morning of his 40th birthday. He's got some midlife stuff going on, but everything seems to be great. And then this machine turns up with the promise to tell everybody in the town what their life potential is. And it upends his life, the community, and his perception of whether he was or not happy in the end.
Well done. Perfect. You got the pitch. You know,
Kinda.
you did. And it's such an interesting interrogation of that idea of happiness, and that it is not something that is just a midlife issue, because everybody who is affected by this machine feels that pull and that question. I know that you have described yourself a couple of years ago as not religious. You also went to university initially for politics, and now here you are playing a history teacher who is, at least in the beginning, and really the guy who is most skeptical of this thing that's going to tell other people what their lives are, what their role is. I want to know how your own philosophy maybe drew you to this character or drew you to this story.
I think you're right in that my own philosophy on the world did drive me to the story, in that one of the things about the book that really interested me was that initial concept, the idea that there is an oracle that, if you wish to give weight to it, will dictate your future for you. And then you don't really have to do anything for yourself. I know there is something about the show where it feels like they're being set free on this new journey, but it's like, well, actually, you just got a machine telling you one thing. And it may feel freeing, but I think if you've been experiencing the world for the last 20 years, and the last 150 years, you could probably see that people can be very easily taken in by one big idea and can do some wonderful things and some fucking awful things, depending on how much weight they put on that idea. And I think that Deerfield is somewhat of a microcosm for the rest of society. It's kind of diverse. It's got an immigrant in the middle of it. And it's interesting to throw in a concept where, if people follow it, everybody would change their lives, because that seems to happen all the time.
Yeah, and it's such a metaphor for whether that is religion or whether it is politics or whether it is Twitter, having something outside of you read back to you what you are. And we all kind of get that, right? We all know what it feels like, at least in some way or another, to have something outside of ourselves tell us what our who we are, what our role is. Certainly as an actor, being typecast, I would imagine. And I read an interview with you where you said when you were starting out, you used to get sent out on the roles for, and I'm quoting you here, Chris, the
Yes.
big slow guy.
Yes. It's a kind of a running joke with, actually, my agent, who I've been with for 20 years. And so I got her some like just some gifts recently, because it was our 20 years together. But one of the things that I got her was this embossed key ring with the letters BSG on it. Because the first few roles, I was probably a good 40 pounds heavier than I am now. So it was with good reason that I was good up for these roles. But it was literally the character description in the first three jobs I got. Somewhere in there, it was like, he's kind of a big, slow guy. He's kind of slow. He's quite big, and he's So I don't mind that so much. I don't mind that. You kind of I feel like I've got to do so many different types of things over the years that it's never really worried me, really.
Yeah. And now, I mean, you have done so many different things, and you walk that line of comedy and sadness, I think, in a lot of the things you do, which maybe to me as an Irish American also feels very Irish.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I think you're probably right.
like we
Jesus,
can't
we can
laugh
we
too
can
hard.
we can fucking wallow in tragedy with the best of them.
Right, but then laugh about it as well, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
It does feel like a very kind of Irish sensibility. And I wonder if I want to know, so for you growing up, who were the people you were looking to as your inspirations? Were there people who you said, I want to do what that person does?
I don't know if it was ever as literal as that, but there was loads of people that I was really enjoying. I used to love when I was growing up, to be honest. I used to love like sketch show writers and like I used to be obsessed with um like Mortimer and Whitehouse and Harry Enfield and French and Saunders and a lot of those kind of writers and Father Ted, a lot of comedy writers. And then when I was probably when I was a teenager, I was started getting really into like shows like Roseanne because I felt like I hadn't seen. I'm not from a bunch of money, and you kind of felt like it was nice to see a working class family on screen so up front. So I was into a lot of that, and then people like Dave Allen and Spike Milligan and a lot of great literary comics that you kind of find in Ireland, like Dylan Moran and people who really are very, very smart. And you realize that when you come from Ireland, there's that comedy and humor is almost a currency. And like you say, we kind of use it often as a way to get out of tragedy,
Right.
or even to fucking ridicule tragedy or whatnot. And I think there's something very noble about that.
Yeah, it's a form of power, right? It's a form of
Yes.
taking back a narrative in a, in a tragic situation, whether it's mass tragedy, whether it's the politics, the history. You play a history teacher. The history of Ireland it's a sad one, Chris. It's
I get, oh no, totally. But it's interesting because it must
yeah.
be a generational thing because I haven't had any hassle. It's been fucking easy as pie for me. Being Irish has been nothing but an absolute gift. So they say that the greatest revenge is the laughter of your children. Well, I'm fucking laughing.
Wonderful. And then your kids can just keep laughing. I love that. I want to ask you about this, get back to the show and this idea of potential, which is such an unusual word and it's so different from destiny. It is very specific. And there's an episode where the characters talk about the nuance of that word and what it means for the people who receive it. If you were to get a card, Chris, what do you think would be on yours? What would be your word, your potential word?
I don't know. I don't know. Semen.
Wait, how's it spelled?
I'm gonna put the A in there
Okay.
for sure. I think yeah, boatsman. A handsome boatman, like it says in the song. A handsome boatman to carry me to my true love to die. That's one of those weird songs where it feels like everything is going great. And it's like, I wish that I would cross the deepest ocean and over the greatest river if you would just bring me to my true love. And then the final two words are to die. It's like, Christ, I thought you were going to shag.
This is why we're all like this.
This is it, isn't it? But it's an Irish thing. I think it's like, I've got this beautiful romantic song, but obviously she's going to die
I
at the
mean,
end of the
yeah.
song.
As
You can't have joy. Are you crazy?
just a little.
But there's touches of that in the show where it's like people are re-examining their lives because even if they feel like they're happy, maybe what's the like it ends up almost having a placebo effect. These kind of cards of, oh well, you're right to draw the distinction between destiny and potential because somehow destiny is so depressing. Always has been. The idea of being related to any idea with predestination, just it's like, so what? So what's the fucking point then? Whereas I think potential is, even if it's wishy-washy as a concept, as Dusty kind of thinks it is, it's not restrictive, really. It's telling you this, you could do this if you fulfill your potential.
Right. Which is, I mean, you're a dad, you have young kids, you know how scary that word can also be. It's a very loaded word because then it's, oh no, free will.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of that too. And
I've been going through the last 2 days, I've been doing our parent teacher conferences.
oh, I'm
And
sorry. I'm so
oh
sorry.
yeah, the potential can be yes, it comes up. They have the potential to be fantastic or an absolute pain in the arse. It seems like the rest of us.
Right. And you just see these little people kind of right there at the gate with potential to
I
be,
know.
yeah, to
I
be
know.
anything.
Exactly. I
And
know.
what this show talks about is like that potential is still there. Like that potential doesn't go away. And even when you're 40, the question is, what are you going to do with it at different points in your life, at different pivotal moments? And you've had certainly fork in the road moments in your own career. You know, I read an interview with you where you talked about how after Bridesmaids, you were offered a lot of things that you described as very easy to turn down. I wonder, looking at your past and moments where you felt there was potential, were there some moments that you think, wow, that really was the game changer for me? That was what set me in a different course, whether for good or for bad?
Yeah, I took some. I suppose I rolled the dice a couple of times, emigrated twice, which is a big change to make. Managed to do that twice for more than a decade, and that opened up a lot of opportunities. I don't know if I made all of the right choices or whatnot. A lot of them I've made actually with a very different way than I've made decisions early doors, where it's like you just want to be working at the start, and you just want to get yourself in front of audiences, because if you're a creative, entertaining kind of person like I come from in the creative arts, you just want to entertain people. And then later in life, you kind of go, it's too much. I've got a lot of famous friends and they fucking hate their lives. So it's like there is a limit to how much you could be in front of an audience before you ruin it for everybody.
Yeah. Chris, we talk a lot about, I mean, we've talked a lot about your Irish background. I've watched so many of your performances, and almost always you are Irish in the character, whether it's source material or whatever. I can think of one role I've seen you do an American accent in, and I've heard you say that you prefer not to. I want to know what is that's you Irish almost every character that you do.
It's a couple of things. It's it's always been a representative issue for me, where I feel like for whatever reason, and I've been in America for 12, 30 years, and I meet people who aren't born in America all the time, every single day. I don't see them on screen that often, which I find kind of surprising. And so I kind of discovered Irish people all over the world were the most traveled people that have ever lived. So being a part of representing a diaspora as well as a nation has always been of interest to me. And also, it's one less thing to worry about. I like to be, I improvise a lot, and come from a big improv background. And so when I do accents, it involves doing accent work. And in the last film, I did a movie for Netflix, and I had to be a brother of an American character. So then you kind of obviously have to do it. And that was kind of fine. But it does make you just think about the words that you're saying very specifically, rather than what I find more useful is like how your character is feeling in that moment.
Yeah, I want to ask you one more question, and it's also about the technical enterprise, if I can, the whistling. So
Yes.
your character is a whistler, among other
Yes.
things, but not too many other things. We learn. I heard that you had to get like I heard you're a good whistler, but that you also had to be dubbed.
Well, I think we wanted, because he gets it on his card. It's a very specific part of his personality. And I'm actually not a bad whistler, but we did want to step it up a bit and give him real runs and turns that might give us a reason to think that the whistler word belonged on the card, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think we did. There's a lot of scenes where I'm like, I want this to have whistling in it, but I think it needs somebody better than me. So I'm just going to be walking around in the background with my lips pursed. And if you can add it in post, otherwise I'm going to look like an absolute idiot, just walking around going with no sound coming out. I'm sucking a straw.
But doing it perfect. Okay, I'm a terrible whistler. What's the secret? How does one become a better whistler, Chris?
Just try and exercise your tongue as much as you can.
That's
I
what I
find
taught
that
someone.
is
Okay.
helpful. I've been trying to teach the kids to whistle, and it is an odd thing because it's just the shape of your mouth, isn't it?
That's
Anyway,
one of the things the show is about. That's why it's got a theremin in it. I think there should be theremins in every single TV show. And I think Chris O'Dowd should maybe be in every TV show as well. Chris,
well,
thank you.
this is the overexposure I'm looking for.
Okay, me too. Chris, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's an absolute pleasure. Absolutely
Happy
love.
St. Patrick.
Happy St. Patrick's. Happy the Big Door Prize. It's a pleasure to talk to you, Chris. Talk to us anytime.
Thanks
Thanks.
so much.